Hey everybody, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter, actually at Blacktop Banter, and in my hands I hold a Dynapack roller, which you don't get to do very often. I've been fortunate enough to see some Dynapack rollers this year and spend some time with Dynapack. Now Dynapack is the official compaction sponsor of Blacktop Banter. Some things about Dynapack and their roller system is the seismic system, which improves compaction by making adjustments every 0.2 seconds. Rather than have a stable compaction style, it will actually analyze a pavement and adjust that compaction. They're at the front of the line, always working on innovation and movement and everything that they can do to help improve the compaction world around asphalt. They have a huge presence online. You can find them, of course, at dynapack.com or on social media at dynapack_North_America or Dynapack North America, depending on where you're looking. Besides that, they're very, very active in our community as well. You can find them at many expos and shows and online, and the team as well. They have a great team there that interacts really well with our community. So if you get a chance, pop over, check them out on social media, check out what Dynapack has to offer. And as always, Dynapack is your partner on the road ahead. Hey y'all, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. Really quick, just wanted to talk about the 800 pavement network. As you can see, we have some lettering there, lettering on our other truck over there, lettering on this truck here. They all say 1-800-Blacktop. We've been using the 1-800-Blacktop number here for the last couple of years. It's really been exceptional for us as far as making things click with our branding, and now that we're in another state, those area codes are together. It's worked out fantastically for us. The other thing is that 800 Pavement Network has other advantages. There's group discounts on a lot of the products and materials that we use within our industry. We're part of over 300 different, see that one? Over 300 different contractors that are now using these numbers all over the country. That's combined over $2 billion in gross profits. So if you've been thinking about it or you're curious about it and you're like, well, no, should I or shouldn't I? DM me, message me, or reach out to 800 Pavement Network. You can find them online through their website. You can call 1-800-PAVEMENT and you'll get them as well. They'd be happy to run you through kind of the advantages and everything else that we've been taking advantage of here at Wiscote and Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance, and how it can benefit you as well. Once again, if you're curious about it at all, you can always DM me. So yeah, 1-800-Blacktop. You can DM me or message me or email me through the podcast or Wiscote or wherever as well. I would love to talk to you about how it has helped us. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Blacktop Banter. And it's not that we're running out of people to interview and talk to. We have a plethora, but it's fun to get back in rhythm with some people that we haven't been able to connect with in a long time. So, and not only that, most of these people that you see me reconnect with or have back on the show are pretty good friends that I talk to fairly often. So, as is with the last few episodes, this episode is also streaming live right now on Instagram as well. We are in the new studio, which really isn't quite the newest version of the new studio. We are getting it rebuilt, but in the meantime, they have to let me in here to at least record a podcast once in a while. So we still get the old backdrops with the old sponsors over here and this one over here and whatnot. They're still our sponsors, but the old signs. But anyways, to revert back, it's the middle of the day here in Wisconsin, and it's raining and we're flooding in the shops. And on the other side of the country, there got some snow coming. So we got just enough time to squeeze Jason Vaughan in again here on the podcast. Second time. He was just telling me before the show, his boy was in school, got some free time on the computer. And when was the last time you were on here? What episode?
Episode number 4.
So 97 episodes later, here we are, right? That's been 4 years. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. A lot happened since then, man.
It's awesome.
Dude, Eli's went to state wrestling since then. When we connect on that level, because both our boys wrestling, we talk about it a lot. And
Yeah, same age, and if I'm not mistaken, same weight bracket too, I think.
they were last year, dude. Eli put on 20 some pounds this year in about 6 inches. So he's up. I think he's at 10 or he's at 98 this year.
Yeah, so Travis hasn't had that growth spurt yet, so he's still 80.
Yeah. So Eli was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be huge, right?" Well, then he goes to
Yeah,
school wrestling, and he's wrestling eighth graders, bro.
that's
Because
awesome.
he got big. He's like, "Dad, they're strong. They're smart." I was like, "Yeah,
That's good though.
so you got some size." So
That's good though.
it is. It is. It's good for him. So he's been training, doing a lot of that stuff on the flip side. But yeah, man, it's been a while. So you sent me a what was it? I think a text a while back or a video a while back of you guys upgrading into a newer Lee boy, bigger size, to get done everything you wanted. You kind of want
Yeah,
to talk about that? What's
we
changed?
have we have always tried to think to what we could upgrade and what we could change to benefit us, versus production wise and moving forward in the future. So that's one thing we have always been big on is things are smooth right now. What
Yep.
can we do to make them smoother? And then also what can we do to open another door?
I got you. I got you. Where does that come from, you think? You think that because I don't think that every management team, right, which you yourself, your brothers, um, think that way, right? A lot of times it's like we got the stuff, let's just keep milking it for as much as we.
I
What
I think
where'd that come
I'm the kind of person I do not stop day and night. I'm the person at midnight. I'm on, I'm online, I'm looking, I'm browsing ideas. My mind never stops working. So as we talked last time, it's like production goes smooth, with one craft goes super shot and one seal right 700-gallon tank,
from?
we can make our operations smooth.
Yeah.
In my head, as our operation is going smooth, I'm thinking instantly, what can we do to make it even smoother? And what can we do to change it a little bit?
Well,
So that's where I'm always thinking of ideas. My brother sometimes wants to murder me because he's like, we don't need this. And I say, yeah, we do.
yeah.
So, and then once we get into something, it's like, we got a Lee Boy 7000. Lee Boy 7000 is a great machine. We pave a lot of, driveways, small parking lots with it, and things go smooth. And then I come up with the idea. I'm like, that goes smooth. It'd be even smoother if we got a Lee Boy 8510. So then we get a Lee Boy 8510, and we had that for 4 years, put down thousands of ton of blacktop. Everything rocked and rolled. And
Yeah.
then in the off season, I started sending my brother links, and I'm like, this Lee Boy 8520 would be just a step up. We could still do what we're doing now, but we could do it a little faster. And
Yeah.
on top of doing it a little faster, it could open the door to a little bit bigger of, that medium to small commercial. So
Yeah.
that is the route we're going. And everything is finalized. Hopefully in the next week or so, the truck comes and drops it off and delivers it to us. So
Man, that's badass. You always had an eye for that, man. You always send me stuff too. I know you got there's certain people I know that are in the buy sell trade Facebook groups, right? The equipment buy sell trade. But then there's also guys that go beyond that, right? And they're on Craigslist or they're looking at local auctions or wherever. You're one of those guys, bro. Because I know you send me stuff even where I'm at, and you're like, bro, this would be the perfect small dump truck for you to start out. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, oh.
I am the type of person. What can you do to make money and not break the bank? That's
Yeah.
the kind of person I am. So where we started was dirt poor and nothing to where we're at now. I like to think like we're dirt poor and you know what I mean? We have
Yeah.
nothing, because what can I do? Like everything that we do in business is like one word of advice. I always I see people, we're very lucky, we're very gifted, and we're very well known. We're always busy. We're never begging for work. And I see these guys online and they're like trying to form a business, or they're just starting in a small seal coat business with a tote. And they're
Yeah.
like, what do I do? It's like, I see that guy and it's like, man, I'd love to take him under my wing, because I guarantee if you give me 1 year with this guy, like I can make great things happen. But, you know, we just started with nothing and then it was like domino effect.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, well, if they go back and listen to episode 4, they're definitely going to get the backstory. I still remember the tank that you guys bought from the guy at the
yeah,
on the
trailer
trailer
park.
park. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You think that so if anybody follows you and Vaughan on Instagram or social media or wherever, they will notice that you guys support the troops a lot. You guys have a lot of military influence in what you do. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I have a feeling some of that tactitional type of stuff that you do in our industry for your business comes from that
Sure.
background as well.
Well, so I don't know if we talked about it last time. I am a Marine vet myself. So before things really took off, I served in the Marines in 2004 to 2008. That was, as everybody knows, that was like peak of Iraq, Afghanistan time. So I went actually straight out of high school. I signed up, didn't know what I really wanted to do back then in 04. So I said, I'm not going to sit around. September 11th happened. I joined the Marines. I wanted to go do my part. And to me, that means a lot to me, you know,
Yeah.
being a Marine. And it's funny, everyone always says I'm like Captain America, like I'm very patriotic.
Yeah.
Everything I have has American flags on it. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, some people do that just for like a style or an image. To me, like I see that and, you know, that means a lot to me. I take it to heart. So, you know, that's actually become like one of our trademarks. We talked branding in the past, and it's like one of the things, every single thing we have, from something as simple as our roller to our pavers, trucks, trailers, everything not only has our logo, which is standard, but we also have the cross American and Marine flags, just because to us that means a lot. And on top of that, anything we can do to support like veterans organizations,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Every year we donate, we sponsor, and you know, to us, it's the least we can do to give back to anybody who serves. So
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, it stands for something, right? I mean, it
absolutely.
honestly, truthfully does. Not only the flag that we see represented well in your industry, and we see or in your business, but we see it a lot in the industry too, right? That it's represented really well. The fact that you guys have a brand that's synonymous with the Marine Corps, which I believe it is, of anybody from our industry that watches your guys' social and see how you post, they would understand that, right? Um, I think that has a meaning that is a basis for building a good business in our industry, right? I mean, it takes not only tact, it takes teamwork, it takes dependability, integrity,
Sure.
honor, like all those things that it embodies. Just so happens to be, I say that a lot about me too, where people are like, man, you're just so genuine. And I'm like, well, that's who I am. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that. And
Yeah.
that's what portrays through you, right? The military and the Marine Corps being such an intricate part of who you are and who you became,
Sure.
you know, through
What's
your brand.
It's funny the things you see through social media. So we all network on social media,
Yep.
and I have stressed like I enjoy just quietly sitting back and, you know, I have passion or I wouldn't be doing what I do. Obviously, you have passion, you wouldn't be doing what you do.
Correct.
We don't do this for the heck of it. So we have passion for the asphalt industry, and it's funny. I see there's it's so common for me to see other asphalt guys. They have like, you know, the hood wrapped in an American flag or the fender with an American flag on the trucks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
right on, man. But I think what it comes down to is guys like us that are in the trenches.
Yeah.
We know what it's like, and we, you know, have pride because it sounds corny, but like we're living the American dream.
Yes.
You know, we dictate our future, we dictate our lifestyle,
Yep.
and we fight and we work our tails off to do so. And that, in my opinion, that is what the American dream is all about.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for you to sum that up like that makes us realize, right? And I think it makes the people that are our neighbors to the north and whatnot realize if America
Sure.
wasn't America, it wouldn't be great for them up there either, right? And if and
Absolutely.
like I spoke yesterday about my recent trip to Guatemala, and
Sure.
in that talk, the thing I said that separates us from them is opportunity, right?
Sure.
We just so happen to be in a place where people have fought and died for us to be able to have certain opportunities that aren't allowed in other places. I mean, one thing that pains me, right? We're on social media a lot. We see that is where people complain a lot about America, but yet we are still, in my eyes, the best place of opportunity for somebody to live a decent,
Sure.
right? The problem is we're in the trenches still, man. Like
Exactly.
when you're in business right now, like the way that you're hunting down equipment at night, the way that I'm trying to push through a wall that has never been pushed through before, right? And I have no idea where I'm going. I just keep trudging along. Like we're able to do that and focus on those things because we have peace of mind and peace here, right, within our borders. So
Sure.
I think that people just kind of underestimate that a little bit. And one thing I know for sure, you will never see any of our hoods wrapping a flag. You see the flag fly outside of our offices and stuff. But honestly, truthfully, for the guys like you that are in my life in proximity, I don't want to ever like push like, hey man, we're America. I'm like, no, bro, I know who's pushing, who's carrying the flag for sure for us in this industry
Sure.
like that. But to talk about that, has that influenced your military training, you think, and the way that you are? Do you think that's what has been, do you think any parts of those have been instrumental in how you've ran your business and how you guys have had such a good job succeeding in that realm?
As far as that in my opinion is definitely something that helps. And it's funny because I'm used to it, so I don't even realize. So between interacting with people and a lot of things that are involved in the industry, I don't even think about it, but it's like goes back to like I've had people say, I could tell you're in the military. Like I can tell you, I could definitely tell, just talking to you or watching. I've had customers and I'm on a job and it's like, man, you're barking orders. Like I could tell you're a veteran. Like
Yeah.
I don't even think
This
about
is
that.
how I am.
But it's, yeah, it's just that's how it is.
Driveway
But
today. What do you mean? Like, yeah,
yeah, it's
normal for us.
but it's funny. It's definitely there's anybody who served knows like there's certain aspects of leadership and things you learn in the military that never ever leave you.
Yeah.
And in business, it is so important. Like I'm very thankful for all that because I look at it now and it's like, the tact and how you present yourself is
Yeah.
very important and definitely helps in the industry
Yeah.
to where, you know, I feel if I never served, I probably wouldn't have that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have it as good.
Well, let's say two things here. You're efficient and you get shit done. Like that's pretty
Yeah,
much, I know enough from reading books and studying and being in proximity to know that those are very two important things in the military and
sure.
in business as well, right? Especially in
Well,
our
I always say like I'll use this as an example, like
Mhm.
being in the military.
Yeah.
It's funny because I realized it because I was in the military, and like if I have a veteran that works for us,
Yeah.
they get it. Other people don't get it. But something as simple as saying like you work for me, so Marvin,
Yeah.
get your ass over there and do this. You're
Right.
gonna look at me like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like what a jerk. But if
Right.
I say, hey Marvin, can you do me a favor and you get a second? Can you go over and do that? They mean the same thing as a boss.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're either gonna walk over and do it and say, hey, that was nice of him to ask like that, or what a jerk.
Right.
It's like tact. That's what I mean when I say like being tactful. There's a way of presenting yourself that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
And
means the same thing
it means the
and
same
it gets
thing.
your point across actually 10 times more effective.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can kind of use that same tact in landing jobs too, right? I mean, if you get called out,
Sure,
you kind of read people a little bit, and either they want somebody to work with them, and you can tell that by
sure,
the way they talk, or they want somebody to take it from them and get that shit done. And you
absolutely.
kind of not that you play both parts, but you understand, hey, as a unit, for all of us to get this thing done, this is how I have to be. This is my role. This guy wants me to be the guy that gets shit done. Or
Sure,
this guy wants to be in charge and have us perform to certain expectations. So now we have to make sure we perform those expectations. It's a unique dynamic when you bring all that into play. But we were talking earlier about our boys. I seen a funny ass video you posted a while back of was it an Escalade that was rolled off into something, and you're like, yeah, back it up, yeah, pull forward, yeah, back it up.
yeah,
And I mean, to be honest with you, in 4 years, our lives have changed a lot where we've been able to do those types of things, right? Have fun, relax a little bit.
yeah.
Send me pictures. You're at a Limp Bizkit concert. I was extremely jealous, right?
I know.
Dude, Eli was like, Dad, please, they're gonna be in Green Bay, please. And it was the one date that was close to us that we're gonna miss. But
And you
the
missed it.
I did miss it, and I still hear about it. Now he's like, kid Leroy's coming. I'm like, I'm not gonna go watch some kid. He's like, Dad, he's not a kid. He's an adult. I'm like, well, why is his name Kid? He's like, what about Kid Rock? And I was like, okay, good point. Touche, kid.
That's funny. He got you.
He did get me on that one. He's sharp, dude. Ugh, it's not going to be good. I can already feel it. That the thing that I wanted to get back around to was the fact that this industry has changed probably the trajectory of my family, and has changed the way that my family lived, especially this will be our 19th year, especially 15 years ago. Liz is going to be 13. So it's changed it from 10 years, from 5 years. Can we talk about that a little bit about this industry? You and I both are passionate about our industry. We know that. And
Sure,
I think the reason that I'm passionate about it is because it has been the catalyst for change in my family and my family tree. And
sure.
I've known now a lot of people who we would consider in our industry very successful, who give back just to give back to the industry because it gave.
Absolutely.
You want to touch on that a little bit about what that's done for you?
Absolutely. So, as we kind of talked before, this industry is anything you want to make it. This industry, you can truthfully be as big as you want to be. You can set your own margins. You can set your own schedule. It is whatever you want to make of it. So some guys I see that, we see them around. We see these guys that are small. They never really grow. You never really see them with nice equipment. They're scraping by. And I always look at it and I'm like, they're just poorly managed,
Yeah,
because anybody, in my opinion, can start with nothing, as we've proved, and you can build a successful business. With a successful business comes lots of happiness and whatever you want of it. So, on my family perspective, like, I work hard. I'm lucky my wife works hard. So between the two of us, like, we have a successful family. So I went from scraping bottom to, renting a house. And, like, before I bought my house, which, we like to say this is like our dream house,
yeah,
we bounced around. We rented like 5 houses. It's like, we drove mediocre cars, and that's fine. We live by our means, but the industry and the business has, in being successful, we bought what my wife likes to say, her dream house. And my kids are happy. They got a beautiful yard, pool, each got our own bedroom. We drive nice vehicles. Like, we live comfortably now
yeah,
because we work hard.
yeah,
But on top of my family, we give back to the community. Don't forget where you came from. And then on top of that, don't forget who supports you.
yeah.
Because without your community around you, you're nobody.
It's true.
So I always remember that we sponsor church groups, we sponsor youth sports teams, our
Yep.
high school. Like for instance, every year, one charity we never miss is like they have a cancer fund. Every year they have this big event. We're one of the top sponsors. Like
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
Isn't that crazy,
And
man? The more you give, the more you get.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's one piece of advice I have for everybody. Don't be greedy. Do not be greedy. And there's people out there that need money 10 times worse than you do.
Yeah. And it's just money.
You will, yes.
It's
I
just
always say
money, which is so crazy.
Money truly means nothing. And I wholeheartedly mean that.
Yeah.
Money means nothing to me. It's happiness and like the fact of helping. I love to help. So for me, when a youth group reaches out and says, "Hey, can you help us?"
Yeah.
No problem. Absolutely, I can help you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely
we
one thing and advice I can give for people. It always kills me when I see like competitors. You never see them sponsor anything. And it's like, or other small
and they're doing well. And they're doing well. And they're doing well. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, but then when you see them, they're ornery, right? Like, it's like, man, why are you doing this and doing well if you're just going to be so ornery all the time? Like whatever, you're missing something somewhere in your life, right?
Well, in my opinion, that comes down to greed.
Yeah.
It comes down to greed.
It'll never be enough.
It's like, I tell everyone, it's like, I live comfortably. I work my tail off.
Yeah.
And I give to so much, very, very rarely will I deny, sponsoring or donating.
Yeah. Yeah. That's once you get over that hump and you realize that it does two things. One, you end up receiving anyways because you're a giver, right?
Sure.
So something comes back your way. But then two, the power of whatever money had at some point, it all of a sudden doesn't have that power over you anymore, right?
Exactly.
Because you also then realize, dude, I can just go out tomorrow. Like if you and I drove by a property and we seen it needed work, I know if you or I drove in there, we seen 5 of them, we're gonna get one of them to do, and then we're gonna have, right. So to be able to have that freedom, that's the freedom I try, explaining to people, to have the freedom to be in a place where we have free enterprise and capitalism, and we're able to go ahead and create a business where if we need to generate revenue or do something to generate it, we can do it, right? And we can do it because we live in a land of abundance yet.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I've taken from my business is even when it was early on and I was giving so that I would hope that I would get exposure. And then I realized like, well, no one really is going to remember the small banner with your name on it in a corner of that corner on the baseball field. But the kid that comes up afterward and was like, "Hey, thanks. We were able to buy this with it." And here, then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, okay, now I get why I'm doing this." Right.
Exactly.
So
I say it's about the kids, it's about the community.
Yeah, I think so too. And then all of a sudden you can buy bigger lead boys somehow. The more you gave, all of a sudden you're able to upgrade lead boys. The more you go, all of a sudden you're able to open another office somewhere. It's funny how that works, man. But I think that we were going to talk about upgrades and equipment upgrades and stuff like that since then. And of course your pavers there. But I think that like our personal development upgrades that have happened since 4 years ago or whenever you were last on is a big deal, man. I mean, when we talk about what we're talking about now, it's advice, right? And we can give people advice, like you were saying earlier. Totally, you could take somebody on and say, give me yourself for a year. I'll help you guide your business, and you're going to be in a good spot. We can both do that. Where it really starts to make a difference is when you take somebody on and you start to show them how to develop good character, right? And how they make choices to choose what type of character they want to have in their life. I think that too much nowadays, society and parents or the media or whoever influences people to think they are the way they are. It's
exactly.
Like, totally
I agree with that.
It's totally not it. So
I always say be yourself, and being honest and being a good hard worker are 2 of the best traits you could have.
Yeah, yeah. And you, like you were saying earlier, you get out of it what you put into it.
No doubt about it.
And here's the thing, that doesn't just go for the owners of the companies in our industry, right? Like if I have somebody who I know is busting their back for me, who is giving extra effort, I'm cool with giving more back to them, right? Whether it's
Exactly.
the end or whatever or wherever it is. But I don't think that people quite get that. Even though that's there, I'm not sure that they have that ambition, right? Even if you're like, hey man, even people that I've given percentages to, right? It's like, dude,
Yeah,
why are you not going as hard as I thought you would? But I don't know really how you crack that code with everybody, but some people innately have it. And if you
sure.
have one, dude, it helps your team out a lot. That's for sure.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, yeah. So when we talk about other pieces of advice, what's been on your brain lately, Jason, where you're like, man, if people could just get this, it would help them out quite a bit. What do you
As
think?
far as other
And it's,
people
I
doing
don't.
it,
It doesn't matter. It don't matter. It's all encompassing in this industry. You know that as well as I do. We eat, breathe, shit, asphalt, and
everything. Yeah. So we have like a small stretch where I try not to think too much about work, like after the work season ends, which I don't do very good with because somehow something work always pops up. But
right.
um, so as far as that, we're to the point now where on my mind is like, man, 2 weeks we could be working.
Yeah.
So the way it looks in the next couple of weeks, we'll be working. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're gearing up for, and timeline wise, everything's falling into place. So
What do you do
right
for
now, that's
strategy wise? Like, what do you do for strategy like this time of year? Like when you have estimates coming in, you have jobs on the books, like all that type of stuff.
sure.
What do
Yeah,
you,
so we always have jobs that roll in from the fall.
yep.
So at the beginning of the year, we always have something to start with because we get those people that October 15th, they call and say, hey, I want to get my driveway sealed. And it's like, we got 2 weeks of sealing left and you're out of luck.
Right.
So, or paving, it'll be almost Thanksgiving and we'll get phone calls, somebody saying, hey, I got money put away. I want to get the driveway paved. It's like, I don't know what to tell you
Yeah, good
because
luck.
at that point, you're not getting it done. So we are always fortunate enough to have a nice chunk of work to start the season with. So, on top of that, we've been lucky out here on the East Coast. It's been very mild. So a lot more people have been thinking spring and outdoor improvements. So we've been getting lots and lots of phone calls for paving and sealing. So we've been busy out doing estimates every single day and you know, trying to line up what we can to roll into the season.
How do you do a efficient job, you think, if you're gonna do self-analyzing of that as far as staying on top of it? Or do you feel like, shoot, man, I get
As
my
far as
as
getting
far as the
estimates done,
estimate, yeah, as far as the estimating, and then so let's talk about this real quick because we were going to talk about this topic and
go
didn't
for it.
really didn't get to the topic of reaching back out, right?
Follow ups.
Yeah, yep, and following up with clients that you gave an estimate to because we both agreed the same thing, right? You can give your estimate right away here in the spring,
Sure.
and you're like, dude, I didn't hear back from this guy because the estimate is still sitting on your table. You're like, oh, I'm gonna call him back real quick, or I'm gonna email him or text him real quick.
Sure.
Dude, when it's end of July, beginning of August, forget it. Like I'm like, yep, we gave you the price. If they call, they call. If they don't, they don't.
Sure.
I feel bad about that sometimes because if I feel like if I was able to reach back out and I could get them on the books, maybe I would then adapt our crew to be able to take on that workload too, right?
Sure.
So do you what tactic, if any, do you have for follow-ups
But
right now? And then I'll say what
so
for follow-ups.
I will tell you the same thing I said the other day. It is a very tricky. That's a topic I feel we could talk for a long time about.
Yes.
Follow ups is a very tricky topic because I'll give you the example. Like you and I chatted on the phone, and I gave an estimate for a big job. It
Yep.
was a parking lot, mill pave, base top, sub base, everything.
Yep.
So it was the job you want to start off in spring.
Cool.
So I went out. looked at the job, everything went great, wrote, the guy's detailed estimate up, submitted it.
Yep.
Did a follow-up, everything came in fine. Is it everything you were looking for? Yes, everything's good. Went out not once, but twice with the gentleman in charge. He wanted me to come out and meet him, which is a good sign.
Yep.
We went through the estimate.
Okay.
So there was a discrepancy of very awkward shaped parking lot, and was my square footage spot on with the other contractor that's bidding its square footage.
Okay.
So that was the discrepancy.
Yep.
So, we went back and forth. I showed him how I came up with my footage and how I came up with my price.
Okay.
So we kind of went back and forth like 3 times, which is good. And then I did one follow-up after saying, we're all squared away.
Yep.
Our square footage is the exact same.
Yep.
So where are we at? I'm curious. Now I put a lot of work into this. Where are we at? He said, I'll keep you posted. So
Okay.
now it's like, do you wait a week? Because now you're eager. You put a lot of work into this.
Yep.
Do you reach right back out and be that pain? Which that's what I would feel like. All right, we met 3 times. You confirm that all the requirements were the same, were set.
Yeah.
Now, do I reach out again? Because if I'm the customer, all right, Marvin, back off.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you're being pushy, back off.
It's a fine line, right?
So where is that fine line?
I know.
That's the hard part.
I know. And then here's the thing, right? In the summer, sometimes you'll get clients where you'll go out and give the estimate and send it over to an email, and then you'll see somebody else do it. And I've walked into those customers like, why didn't we win that? And they're like, well, you never reached back out, really. And I'm like, what? Like, that's really what did it? The fact that I didn't follow up?
That's I've gotten that once.
Yeah, I'm like,
I have gotten.
Then I think about that,
once.
right? Like the fact that one person had the gall to tell you that that's what it was. But how many people wouldn't tell you that, where they're like,
yeah,
that wasn't follow-up. Dude, I have a feeling it's probably 10x that, bro. And I'm like, man, I can't believe I lost a job over that. But I better.
I had one customer. I did patchwork at a commercial property. I did patchwork and catch basin rebuilds.
Okay.
Great. They were happy. They were totally content. I'm like, great, we got a good customer. And I remember at the time saying, like, you got to crack seal and seal coat this place. They said, well, that's not in the budget, but in the future, that's something we want to do.
Yeah.
Great. We did the work we were supposed to do. They were totally happy with it. We went on our way. Like, next season, I drive past, it's caution taped off and freshly sealed. So we've reached out and said, what the heck? Like, were you unhappy with something in the past? What happened?
Yeah.
And their response was, your follow-ups need to be a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's something
strange,
man. So after you and I had this conversation, I called up Jason, who does we provide SEO, website, and Google My Business services here. And him and I have talked about doing a postcard campaign for your old clients.
Sure.
Like, hey man, let's send this out. That's the realm he was in before. And I started asking him, like, dude, can't we just do a follow-up program? Like,
yeah,
that we could offer here at BB. Like, we could have clients where we're like, hey, $3,000 a year, $1,500 a year, whatever. Yeah. Give us your client list, and we will. Obviously, we're in Wisconsin. If we're too close to you for my businesses, don't give us your client list if you're worried. But obviously, you're not worried about me. You would give Blacktop Banter that client list. They would be able to go through whoever was in the spring. Like, you could do it in the spring, you could do it that month, you could do it monthly, you could do whatever. Be like, hey, you and I were like, hey, like, we should at least, if we're going to be estimates, we should at least do it probably a week out or so. But I was thinking the current client list, just every quarter, right? Sending them a blast, whether it's, Jason said he could do everything except a live phone call, obviously. But even an email or a text or whatever, and just being like, hey, how's everything looking? Is there anything new that you've noticed?
Sure.
Might be able to come look. Do you want us to come take a look? Like, that type of stuff. I feel like that is probably a service that I would pay for, and it would help me be less lazy. Even though it's making me more lazy, it would still make me seem like I was less lazy about follow-ups. It's a big deal.
That is, like I said, that's a tough. We've tried postcards, so we've spent money on nice postcards.
Yep.
basically saying, hey, Marvin, I didn't forget you.
Yeah.
You're due for a seal coating.
Yep.
How about I give you 10% off your next ceiling? Call me up. I'll come out. I'll estimate it.
Yeah.
And out of sending like 1,000 out,
Yeah.
we get like 3 back.
Yeah.
Why did I just waste that money and the time sending 1,000 out,
dude,
when, you know, between people moving and whatnot, it gets frustrating when you only get
3 back. Yeah, so it makes more sense to me to be like, okay, let's just digitize this and we'll do it
Sure.
text, email, even automated phone call where you're like, hey, this is Marvin from Westcoast. This is an automated call. But I think because we aren't don't seem like a company that would robocall, they would just be like, oh yeah, we do need to call them back. Right. Here's the number to call us back, whatever it would be. I think it would
that's a tough one.
It is, because you lose what has made your business and my business really successful is the genuine personalities of the families that run them, right? So you lose that a little bit.
As a contractor, we all bid projects, like you said. You bid work, you drive by, you saw it freshly done, so be it. Not a big deal. Right. I always wonder why. Like, was it price?
Yeah.
And what was it that there could have been something totally stupid that deterred them, but what made Marvin get the job and not me?
Yeah. I think about that a lot, especially if I dealt with the owner. Then I really think about it.
That's exactly where I was going with that.
Property manager, then I'm not. I'm more inclined to say that guy's like, hey, I saved us $10,000 by going with this company. And it's like, yeah, it looks like you did. It looks like you saved.
Yes. But that's exactly where I was going with the owners of that. When I do a job for you, like, we go above and beyond to make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's usually always 150% content.
Yes.
But when I drive past and you were totally content, you bought me lunch when I was there last time, and then I drive by and your driveway's freshly sealed by somebody else. Yeah. Or, I've had driveways I sealed forever that got freshly paved. And I'm like, what the hell? I sealed that driveway 5 times.
Yeah. Oh, that gets me too, especially if I lock them in for a price, right? If I was like, dude, it'll be this price. We do that.
And I have reached out to people like, what happened? And they're like, oh, we thought you just did sealing. You didn't do paving. Like, the name of the company is Vaughan, Sealcoating and Paving.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but I don't think we'll ever get it.
I don't think you ever will either. And I think it's like sometimes like, so I bought a pair of shoes yesterday. Anybody who, if you know me personally, I like wear high, not necessarily like super high end shoes, but just shoes that I think is cool, that I don't really care if they cost me $100 or $200. I don't care. I like these sneakers. I'm going to wear them. We were in Chicago. I took Eli and Liz on Christmas vacation. We went to Chicago, seen a show, did whatever. We were at the Adidas store there, and I seen a pair of shoes I wanted. And I was like, man, I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to drop this kind of money on a pair of sneakers. Forget it.
Sure.
Yesterday we were in Wisconsin, Delsmere, Wisconsin. I bought the pair of sneakers. The winter went on longer. Logically,
good for you.
I wouldn't buy it, right? Logically, you'd be like, oh man, it must be getting even tighter now. You wouldn't buy it. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I didn't buy them the first time. Like, I really don't know why. And sometimes I think about that. Or I buy a different pair, right? And I'm like, man, I wish I
should have bought those ones.
For this money. I should have just bought the pair I wanted. Yeah. I think it's something with human psyche. It has to be. But that's why we talk a lot about top of mind awareness with brand and whatnot too, right? Where like you're not going to win all of them, but if you can be top of mind with your brand, the chances of you winning the high percentage of them are fine. And obviously, granted, it's not just numbers that you and I play with. We do strategy. We scout and try to make sure we're tactful about what we do and hone in on efficiency. But it's just we must be doing it somewhat, right? Like I said, we're upgrading. Things have got better for us. The industry has given back what we've been putting into it. But yeah, there are some times where I wonder about that. And I wonder sometimes I think sometimes maybe it is just the follow-up sometimes, but I don't know, man. Like you said, there's a line there where Most of the time I'll give the estimate and then I'll email and be like, hey, just checking in. And if I don't hear
Sure.
an email back, I'll call them like, hey, I was wondering if you got my email. They're like, yeah, I got it. I'm like, okay.
And
Can I help you with anything? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we're still waiting. I'll give you a call back. Most of the time, if I hear that, I don't get a call back and we don't get it back. And
that's it.
I'm like,
I
did
agree.
I push too hard? And they don't want to deal with it. Did I sound needy? Or what? Is it's not needy. It's just the want of like, we want to be able to scale. We want to do the work.
And that's why, like, I go on an estimate. So if I go to a residential property, if I go to your house, if you're not home, I will try and say, hey, Marvin, when are you going to be home? Because I'd like to meet you and go over this.
Yeah.
So when I get the person that says, oh, just throw it in the mailbox,
Yeah.
I instantly tell myself, don't waste too much time, because this person is looking for the lowest number. They don't have any desire to meet me. So why would I put tons of work into this?
Yeah.
Because if you're serious about spending $15,000 on blacktopping your driveway, I would probably want to meet the guy that I'm going to potentially hire.
Yeah.
Hear what he has to say, and also hear why.
Yeah.
He's that price.
I would.
What are you offering me why your price is 15,000? All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
But when I
what's the
get that person
differentiator?
that's like, I'm fighting them to meet, it's probably a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. And I think what the worst is when you have somebody's like, I had to get 3 bids. I'm like, oh, okay.
You know what I tell those people? I'm probably going to be your top bid, but
Yeah, I do.
that.
I know I do. Every time I'm like, I can promise you I'm not the cheapest. I said most of the time we're the most expensive. But what's been I mean, there's some great tactics when it comes to sales and whatnot. We won't get
Well, as far as that,
into those,
it
but
is
I
not
try to say,
this.
do you want me just to put sealer and crack filler down? Because I can do
Well,
that.
that's basically what it comes down to, is not to sound cocky, conceited, anything. But when somebody is undecided, or I'm waiting on 3 other guys, and I will come out and ask them, well, if you're looking for cheap, we are not going to be the guys.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you took the time to call me.
Yeah.
Every other, in the summertime, every other driveway you go past has my yard sign.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. And there's a reason why you're waiting on those 3 still.
Yeah.
Well, you're right now, and we're the first ones, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's why I try to.
As far as that, it gets frustrating, but we all have a pretty good feel of the ones you should waste your time with and the ones you shouldn't.
Yeah, and I think that you get a good feel for that over time, and we'll start to close out on that. But I'll tell you a story. We did a we did a Deer Classic Expo for Wiscote this weekend. We haven't done an expo in probably like 7-8 years. Didn't really need to, but to sponsor at the event, like I said, we love to sponsor and give
They're
back.
fun, yeah.
Right. It was $50, and to get a booth space with sponsorship was $100. And I was like, what day is it? Nah, there ain't nothing going on. I'm like, let's do it. We'll have fun. I'm like, we'll hang out and talk to some people. We had a great time interacting with people we've seen that love to see us out there. I will probably do it again next year. It was refreshing, to be honest with you. But I had Eli with me, and
he loved it.
Yep. About probably halfway through, I stepped back. I'm like, all right, it's your turn. He's like, my turn for what? I'm like, to start talking to people. About what? I said, why do you think we're here? Well, because we seal coat and we do driveways and we put blacktop
There
down.
you go.
I'm like, yep. I'm like, go ahead and get started. He's like, what if I mess up? I said, I'm already booked up until July. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mess her up all you want to, bud. And by the end, and I told him, I'm like, as soon as you get somebody to fill out an estimate request, I'll buy you lunch.
Awesome.
Right? So here he is, like, hey, he's like, what do I ask them? I'm like, how about you ask them if they have a driveway? He's like, well, everybody has a driveway. I was like, yeah, I know. I'm like, they're gonna say yes. I'm like,
is it paid?
I said, you're gonna get your first yes right away. I'm like, people, when they're in the habit of saying yes, they keep saying yes.
Exactly.
So I'm like, ask them if it's paid. If they say no, I say, why not? And if they say money, like, well, then say, have you got an estimate from us before? I'm like, that's all you got to do. I'm like, then you'll get the ball rolling.
Yep.
He started racking them in. He started like, he
awesome.
messed up when he was like, ooh. what do I ask? Like, how do I get this going? And once he started to get used to people, he started to get a feel for them. He did well at the end. And before that, all I heard was, I'm so bored.
Then he
Oh,
was having fun with it.
yeah. And then at the end, he was like, I'm like, son, they're just people. Same as you would talk to them outside
Yeah,
behind this table. And then it all of a sudden it started to get fun. He had fun with it. But I think that that's part of it, right? Like being able to read people and understand whether you should follow up with them aggressively or unaggressively is one thing or another. But I don't know. It's a tight line. All I know is that that conversation made me think about how much I don't do it in the summer when I should,
sure.
right? And then I was
Well,
like,
there's always specific jobs
yeah,
that you bid, and no matter what, if it's August, you get that bid and you're like, I want that job. Either it's in a
yeah,
great location or, I call those home runs. Like you
yeah,
want that home run.
yes, yeah. You
So then you put the work in.
you
Then
do.
you really put the work in. Then you put the extra follow up in.
Yeah.
But not everyone gets that treatment.
No, and here's the other thing. You might leave this one back, man, I want this one. I'm totally gonna fall. And all of a sudden your phone rings. Hey, yeah, we blew a hose out on whatever. You're like, oh, okay. So then you're running doing that or however handling that. And then it isn't until 9 o'clock at night it hits you again, like, oh, shoot. I wanted to ask them if they got my email or did whatever. Like, it's too late, whatever. I'm not gonna call, email, or whatever. And then
Sure.
that day goes by, they open their emails, they jot down on a note, and then it's gone again. Like there's so many different scenarios where even though you wanted to follow up, something
Sure.
happened in life where it didn't get followed up with. Where if you had something where after a couple of weeks, and let's be honest, there's times where you and I bid one in April or March, and it gets to be November, we drive by and it's still not done. And it's like, well, I know this was on their radar. Why the heck didn't it get done? And I think if
Sure.
we would have followed up a couple times in the summer, maybe it would have kicked it along. Like, hey, what can we do? Because there's times where they're like, yeah, it was too much. I was like, well, what items were too much? Because we can just do some of these items. We can crack, fill, and patch if that's what you're.
So what a good idea is, and you either have seal coating or paving. It's
Yep.
more like on the paving side. What I like to do that works, it's like if I come bid your driveway,
Yeah.
you're very interested. What happens a lot of times, I bid work, say March,
Yep.
drive by, like you said, the driveway's not paved. It's
Yep.
still dirt. It's still dirt. And then come next March, like right now, I had at least like 3 driveways that we had from last year we bid
Yeah.
that call and say, hey, listen, I appreciated your number. We budgeted through the year
Yeah.
and we're ready to get this done.
Yeah.
Like, can you come back out and can you give us an updated quote and see how close we are to the number you gave us last year?
Yeah.
So I guess on the same lines, they were nice enough to think of me.
Yeah.
So they kept me in mind where I probably should have done an extra follow up to say,
Yeah.
I see the driveway's still dirt. It would look
Yeah.
much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a lady call last week for an estimate and she's like, I need an estimate on my driveway. I'm like, for? She's like, for paving. I'm like, okay. She's like, do not come today. I was like, what? I'm like, you busy today? No, it's mud. She's like, somebody tried delivering a package here and they're stuck.
Oh,
Like, don't even come out yet. She's like, just wait. She's like, as long as I'm on your radar, write my name down. Come see me whenever. I'm like,
let me tell you, as a paver, that is such a good selling point.
oh yeah.
When I go out to an estimate when you have like a horrible rainstorm like the day before,
Just
you walk up and you're like, you can't
following
even,
it so you get the pity. You get the pity.
yeah, you can't even walk up and you're like, could you picture how nice that would be blacktopped?
Yeah, yeah. Come up, just ring the doorbell covered in mud. Like, I'm here to give you a bid. Oh my gosh, this is awful. I feel so
That's
awful.
funny.
I had to get covered in mud on your driveway. Maybe just a towel to wipe my face would be great. Anything. No, it's one of those things, man, where um there's a lot of variables go into it. And I know if we keep going, we could talk about a whole bunch of them. But I imagine in this podcast, people's got a lot of advice. We got Prestige Seal Coating is laughing at me and you talking about falling in the mud and using it as a selling point on Instagram. So it's pretty fun to be able to follow up with these guys.
I have to give Prestige credit, by the way. I don't know
Yes,
how the hell that guy brushes as much as he brushes.
his hair or the driveways? What are we talking
No, the asphalt.
Oh, I got you. I got you. I'm just gonna say Adam's a good looking guy. I'm just saying he keeps himself groomed up really well. Yeah, they do, man. And those cab overs, I got green cab overs that
Looking sharp.
looking
Fellow
sharp,
Jersey boy.
looking sharp, looking sharp. That's the power of social media, man. It definitely is. All right. Before we go, before we get into the pod deck, I'm shuffling them anyways under the table, just so you know. So it is what it is. You get what you get, and when I do that type of stuff. On social media, where can people find you, real quick, Jason, and follow along with?
We are on Instagram, Facebook.
Yep.
That's about all we do, just because we do it ourselves. So it's a lot to keep up with.
Yep.
I try to get into the TikTok thing a little bit, but I'm still trying to figure all that out.
Yeah, you're doing. You stay consistent on Instagram and Facebook. You guys are pretty consistent, man.
We try. So it's Vaughan Sealcoating and Paving.
Cool. All right, man. Here we go. I'm not gonna I'm gonna shuffle one more time, but I'm gonna cut them on screen. That way you know I'm not cheating you out of a good one. This is the one. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could choose one person to keep you company, who would it be? You're not getting that.
Megan Fox.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding me?
All right, Megan Fox. What about one animal?
Megan Fox. She's a fox.
Woo! Man, you answered them both with one answer. Cool.
Look at that.
All right.
And my wife won't even kill me.
No, she'd probably be like, congratulations. Yeah. I like that one a lot. She probably has some survival shit too, I bet. I bet she does. She's been through
Megan Fox, she might.
She's been through a lot. I mean, she's survived Transformer invasions twice, bro. I mean, she has to be able to survive something. And she's surviving MGK, so I guess that's something in itself. Cool. Well, this has been 97 episodes since the last one. If we do this again, it'll be episode 198, and it'll hopefully not be 4 years from now. But we're on a good path, man. I really appreciate you joining me again and shooting the breeze with me again. It's always fun, always good to get a great change of pace. I love following you guys. You guys keep killing it, keep crushing. As I always said when we first started all this, my goal is for all of us just to be able to get together at the end and have a toast that we had a good run in this industry together. We're all within the same time frame of our careers and whatnot. It's been a pleasure. Love seeing the boys do their thing. Congratulations on all y'all.
Awesome.
Success. And we look forward to the next one. Hey, man.
Marvin, thanks for having me.
No worries, my friend. We'll talk soon.
You got it, brother. Take care.
Peace.